What is going on, people inside that internet machine? Welcome to this episode of Odds and Ends, and tonight I am going to show you some of my game room accessories that I couldn't live without. Seriously, I would die if I didn't have these in my game room. So throughout the course of your gaming journey, whether you're collecting games or you're playing games and you come across stuff out in the wild, I'm sure you've come across some special edition consoles, controllers, some posters, some soundtracks, some action figures or something that really makes your game room unique and awesome. Tonight, I really want to not focus on those things and focus on things that keep me gaming. These accessories that I'm going to show you are the workhorses. These are things that I use all the time, and they allow me to not only play a large amount of games I probably would never play, but they allow me to switch consoles in and out on this TV very efficiently. So here we go. Oh, this is also a tag video. So make a video response, please. I want to see what gaming room accessories, any console, anything that you can't live without. You have to have it. The first one, no big surprise here, and everybody should know what it is. It is the Game Boy player for the Nintendo GameCube. Now, I gotta be honest, the Nintendo GameCube player is the workhorse when it comes to handheld games in my collection. I don't play Game Boys or Game Boy Advances or Game Boy Advance SPs, Game Boy Colors. I don't play any of those consoles. I'm getting a little too old, those screens are a little smaller, and having the ability to play games on my TV and have all of those consoles able to play on the Game Boy player is absolutely fantastic. This little bad boy will play Game Boy, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance. And I have to be honest, it has really opened up my eyes to some of these libraries. Of course, you have your childhood favorites, but being able to just pop in Game Boy Advance games and play them on my TV when I would never ever play those on an actual physical handheld console. Now it is a little pricey, it's $200+ and you have to have the startup disc, but I think that if you're getting older and you don't have one, go ahead and sell off 3 or 4 or 5 of your Game Boy, Game Boy Colors, Game Boy Advances and get one of these just as a long-term solution, especially if you're never playing those consoles like I never play handheld consoles. But the Nintendo Game Boy, the Nintendo GameCube, Game Boy player by Nintendo, on Nintendo, for Nintendo, everything is Nintendo here. I could not live without this accessory. All right, the second game room accessory that I couldn't function without, that I have to have, is this RCA AV modulator by Vox Accessories Corp. I'll put the model number somewhere in here or in the description. Now, this is a piece of equipment that I found at Goodwill. It was like $3.99, and I took a chance on it to see if it would work. But if you have an old CRT TV like this Sharp NES TV, it only has a coax in. Doesn't have HD, doesn't have the component cables, composite cables, whatever these are called. So what this allows me to do is I can hook this up to the TV via coax, and then if I have a system that uses coax, I can just plug it in right there, like a Master System or a Genesis or something. I can just put in the coax right there, and it'll play those games. In addition, if I have a console that uses the red, yellow, white component or composite, I always get those mixed up, like a GameCube or a Nintendo 64, I can plug those in there, and now I've got basically audio video output on my Sharp NES TV that otherwise wouldn't allow me to do that. Now it's great because my Sharp TV sits here and then my flat screen is over there. So when I watch football, I don't want to not watch football. I want to play on my TV, So I can hook up any console that has a coax out or the component composite stuff right there. Now, if you are gonna buy one of these, just remember it takes a 5-volt power supply, which is kind of a bummer. I had to track one of those down, but otherwise, this is one of those game room accessories I can't live without. I love you, RCA. All right, so the third accessory that I have in my game room that I could not live without, I get questions about it all the time. When people see it in a picture that I post, like say I posted on Facebook that I beat Adventure Island or something. When I got my Sharp NES TV, I joined the Sharp NES TV owners group. And while they did ask me a bunch of questions about this specific TV, what's the serial number, where did I get it, was it complete, does it work, tell me its story, there were more questions about this accessory. What is that thing that's sitting in front of the TV? And it is the BDL Enterprises Turbo Blaster. Now, if you love Nintendo and you need like some turbo power, right? The controller doesn't have that standard like the TurboGrafx 16 controller. And the only way that you can get turbo ability is through an NES Max or an NES Advantage. I particularly don't like either one of those controllers. They're very cool and I'm glad I have one of each in my collection, but I typically like to play with the standard NES controller. And what this bad boy does is it plugs into your Nintendo, blop blop, and then you plug your controller in, and then you can adjust the turbo-ness. It's got a slow fire button. You can adjust how turbo-y you would like it. And it just makes, you know, those shoot 'em ups a lot easier. Well, they're not easy. The shooters on the NES are not easy, but it saves your thumb from doing this. You know what I mean? So I love having that in my collection, the BDL Enterprises Turbo Blaster. Unfortunately, it's one of those accessories that's starting to get expensive. It's hard to find. I picked this one up at Maxine's Bargain Box for like 20 bucks a couple of years ago. And quite honestly, it doesn't make a difference in all games, but like I said, some of those shooters or maybe a platformer where you gotta spam a fire button or something very quickly, it makes that a lot easier. Saves wear and tear on your thumb, makes the game a lot more enjoyable. So there you have it. 3 game room accessories that I can't live without. I can't do business without having those accessories in my game room. What are some of your game room accessories that you can't live without? Feel free to leave a comment down below or even make a response video, and that would be awesome. We'll send everybody over to your channel to check it out. Guys, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share on social media. Don't forget to bang that notification bell so you can stay up to date on all of your CM Retro gaming goodness. Take care of yourselves, and we will see you on the next one.
I don't need saving. It's everything I've been chasing. All here for the taking. Don't wanna test your luck with me. I think I've had enough defeat. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are half-nots. You were not as tough though.